Yes, well, I'm having a lazy afternoon. My voice is a bit croaky, but this isn't very good. I don't look very alert, do I? Right, attention. Hello, my name's Vera and this is the Psychic Craftswoman's podcast, and it's my crafting blog number 2. It's been a bit of a while, a couple of weeks or so since the first blog, but apologies for that, but I have been caught up rather into doing other things, which has kind of diverted my concentration as to working on my crafts. And if I don't work on my crafts, then I get very irritated and down in myself. So the last couple of days I've picked my crafting up again, and that's inspired me to perhaps make a blog to let you know what I'm up to. The rest of the vlog is in front of you, of course, so this is just to say that who I am, and thank you for visiting, and I hope you enjoy sharing time with me. I craft, knit, crochet, spin, although I've not made any spinning vlogs yet, and do lots of other things which are creative. I'm a maker of things, so if I can make it, I'll make it rather than go and buy it. For instance, we urgently need some towels. We've only got 3 towels in the house, and I really need to get us some towels. And I looked on Amazon and wasn't impressed with the price or the quality. So I've recently tidied up my sewing, my craft area. Yay! I've got shelves which are tidy, and well, I'll tell you about that in a minute. But I came across some toweling, and I'll tell you about that as well. So I'm going to be making a few towels just to keep us going. As I say, I'm a maker of things, so if I can make it, I will. Yeah. Anyway, nice to have you with me and share time with me, and if you're new, then hello, and if you're a visitor that you've been to listen to me before, then hello to you too. And I didn't mention in the following vlog time that I've finished off the back of my mint green card jumper. I chose a pattern, a very simple pattern, just a 4-row pattern of 1 row knit, 1 purl, 1 all the way across, then 3 rows of normal stitch of 1 row knit, 1 row plain, 1 row purl, 1 row knit, and then the 4th row again is the knit, 1 purl, 1 all the way across, which takes off the plainness of the jumper. This pattern is my pattern. I've taken it from several other knitting patterns, a bit of a knitting pattern that gave me the raglan sleeves and the size and all the rest of it. And so anyway, it's not really my pattern, it's a shared pattern between me and others, and they're very old patterns. I've had them in my knitting pattern pile for about 20 years, must be a long time. Anyway, I realised that I've got to maintain the same pattern across the 2 sleeves and the front. Otherwise it's going to look scrappy, because these lines will be maybe meeting up, say the sleeve top of the sleeve might be meeting up not quite exactly to the lines on the back. So I've decided to knit the sleeve next. I normally knit the front, but I'm going to knit the sleeve next. And then I knit the front and then I knit the sleeve. And as I come up to the raglan on the sleeve, I'll make sure that I start it in exactly the right space, the equivalent space. What I mean is I'll make sure it matches up and matches up all the way up to the top, so I don't get different lines coming across. It's not like me to think of things like that, but for some reason I got a bit of inspiration and realised that I'd have to be careful of that. Otherwise I'd have unpicked it, because that would look very untidy. I've also got a new something to start, and that's the History of Trees shawl by Christina Haddering. I can't seem to say History of Trees shawl. I don't seem to be able to say it without stumbling. Well, I'm in the middle of having 2 implants of teeth, two teeth to be implanted in my lower jaw, and it kind of makes me slur. I've not been drinking, honestly, although perhaps I could do with a cup of coffee to keep me awake. So I'll sing it. The History of Trees shawl. Oh, there it is. I've chosen to make it in the colours that the designer chose. I often find that when I'm using a pattern from a designer, that the colour of the wool and the pattern, they normally blend. I did think about making this in a different colour. I didn't really want green, but the pattern stuck in my head for several weeks. I wanted to knit another shawl, but wanted to knit something else, but this one kept on calling me. You know, when you're looking through patterns and you think, oh, I must make something else, and you think, oh, I like that, and you can't make everything because it's too expensive, you don't have time. Anyway, so I said, yes, I like this one, but no, I'll make the next something else. But this one, I kept coming back to it, so in the end I gave in with the fight of that, and went with the colours that she made it in. I did really want different colours, but I think my instinct said, look, the designer made it in green, and those are the colours that really would suit the pattern best. So it's in sheep, it's another sheep juice yarn. I do like sheep juice yarn, stone washed. I think it's a bit thicker than double knitting, but I can't remember at the minute. But this is New Jade, and this is malachite. So I was going to start the shawl off yesterday, because I've had the wool a couple of days. I downloaded the pattern yesterday and I thought, I'll start it. Well, I don't think so. Not until I feel a little bit more awake, because it looks quite a challenge. So this bottom part is knitted in 3 parts. This bottom part is the pale green, this is the darker green and the pale green in stripes, and it's got like trees in the lighter green on top and of the stripes, and I thought that you embroidered these on, but I think you put them in at the same time as you're crocheting. But anyway, I've got to do this bit first, which is number 1, and that starts with 3 stitches and then works its way out, because that's the narrower bit, because it's one of those those shawls which has got a big bit here and a narrow bit there. I don't know how you're supposed to wear it, but you know, these things are meant to be tried, and if it spoke to me, then obviously I will grow to love it, I hope. So I got the wool from the wool warehouse in the UK, which is very, and because with the wool warehouse you also get a nice bag with it, which you can tie up. So nice to change from my normal plastic bags. So onward with the vlog. I've got another work in new start, which that's a crochet top, and then I've got some towels. I'll just show you this couple of toweling, just to explain what I'm going to do with those, and I think I've got a couple of repairs that I mention as well. My pinafore, my gardening pinafore, I have finished. I've made it and finished, and I'm very pleased with that. So I sort of I'll show you that, and I can't remember what else, because I've made the bits and pieces of the vlog. Oh, and I've made a drip mat for our feet out of the fleece that was left over from Leicester's jacket. Well, it was supposed to be a mat for our feet outside, to put our feet on outside the shower. I thought, I don't really want to be putting wet feet on that. For a start, fleece isn't absorbent, so I'm better off with toweling or something, making a mat out of toweling. I could go and buy a mat, but as I say, I'm a maker of things, so I'll be making a mat, and keeping the drip mat. I'll have to rename it. Turned out all right, actually, and it made me feel quite virtuous, because I'd used up scraps as a scrappy mat. And I'll show you a little bit about how I made it, not for long, but just in case you're interested too. So I've talked enough. Hope you enjoy the vid. Oh, excuse me, I've eaten a piece of, isn't it irritating when you get a piece of hair wrapped around your tonsils? See you soon. I finished my pinny. Didn't take too long. I'm very pleased with it, and I've worn it already. The only thing is the pockets tend to be a bit too big, so I'm going to make them a bit smaller, because I tend to fill them up with stuff and then they flop forward a little bit. But yeah, it's good. And here is me wearing it. There's some pockets. That's for pen and paper in case I get useful notes to do. And it's got a bib top. All in all, I love this pinny. Yeah, made in denim. Not sure I'd make it in denim again. I wouldn't buy denim to make, I don't think. It's just I had it in the cupboard. I did a little bit of oops, I come by a bit, machining, because I don't have an overlocker anymore, so to keep the edges neat inside I used my pink-inch shears and then the zigzag. The pattern also called for binding, bias binding here, but it's not going to last 5 minutes in and out the washing machine. It's going to fray eventually, so I did a facing and I cut it quite narrow. I didn't leave it as a big facing, which you normally would leave a 2-3 inch facing fabric, but I didn't. I cut it quite close to the edge with my pinking shears again, a couple of rows of zigzag stitching, and that should keep the sides. Okay, the pocket was a peculiar pattern. I think it's stretched all the way round. Anyway, I doubled it over, I changed that, I doubled that over. Put a bit of fabric along the front just to pretty it up a little bit. Don't know why I did, but I just thought it might make it look a little bit, actually it makes me look wider, doesn't it? Zing! This is the biggest part of me. Oh well, not to worry. It's and the top here, I just reversed the fabric to make it look, actually it was accident, I didn't do this intentionally, but it does give a little bit of contrast on the top. I also took the top in. Oh, I don't think you can see this because I had to fold it over because the actual top band came too wide, and I need a bit of shape over my bosoms, otherwise it just was all baggy and things. So what I did is I put a couple of little pleats in here just to give it a little bit of and then I also got a bigger pleat here, which was accidental because I folded over this top band, as I say, like this, because it was too wide. I'm going to do that again, I think, because I do feel that the shape kind of, I don't need fabric here, I need fabric here and kind of all the way down from there, so just folding in. But I love this. It needs to be on strong material to hold the shape, so I shall make it again. I should probably make it as well for my indoor pinafores, which are normally gathered to the waist and then a little bit top, but they don't really keep me clean, and then I have a big long tie to hold them across my tummy. But yeah, I like this. I feel quite, I'm going gardening, this is my gardening pinafore, and when I put it on I think I'm going to go do gardening. Right, so that's my gardening pinafore. I've had a tidy up of my work area here. You can see behind me the shelves are all tidy, and I can see what I've got, fabric I've got, which is lovely because I've never had a space like this in all of my crafting life. It's always been corners of the house here and corners of the house there. So yeah, it's good. I've got a big cutting table, which is a recycled garden table. So over the weekend I was busy and got this straight. You can see there. Doesn't look a lot on the shelves, but there's a cupboard also full of fabric, but I don't want great big piles of fabric really. I want to keep it all in control. Anyway, I found these two pieces of fabric sitting in a box, and they're what do you call it, what is this? I haven't had my cup of tea because I'm wanting to do this while I've got the space in here before Lester has to start work, so please forgive me if I'm a little bit woolly headed. This is toweling, sorry, this is toweling. I bought it a long time ago and it was destined for tea towels. I can't buy tea towels from the shop because they're too small and too itty bitty. I like big tea towels, and I can never find them, so I make them. So anyway, these were for tea towels, but meanwhile, my towels, we're down to 3 towels now, and I need 2, Lester has 1, so that's 3 towels, and that's in total. There's no spare towels, so if we have 2 showers in a day, we have to have damp towels. That's not nice. Anyway, the project, sewing project of the moment is to make some towels out of this toweling. It hasn't been washed, so it's still very thin and doesn't feel very thick and embracing, you know, when you put a towel on you. Excuse me, my voice hasn't woken up. You know, you want a fluffy towel. Well, these aren't fluffy yet because they need washing. I hope they will fluff up after that. I mean, towels are normally made plain, but I can't resist wanting to put something, a little bit of patchwork or something, just to brighten them up. So I'm going to cut these up and then sew them, wash them, so that, because they will shrink, and because they're cotton, so they will shrink a bit, and then I'll put a little bit of patchwork on it. Anyway, that's the project, the sewing project, immediate sewing project. And while I'm sewing, I need to put the neck facing on this huge, can't really call it a t-shirt, it's more a t-shirt tunic type. Anyway, I've made one already and I use it as a night dress, which is very comfy. It was fabric that I had in the cupboard that I liked when I bought it, but I think I bought it as thinking that it was to make a top with, but I think it's cuffing, because as I worked on it, it just stretched. So it got huger. Wasn't meant to be this big. Anyway, just need to put the neck facing on that, and I'm going to do that while I'm doing the t-shirts, the toweling. Right, I'm off to make myself a cup of tea, wake myself up, and catch you later. Well, I got 2 towels and 2 tea towels out of 2 meters of 60-inch wide toweling. So I've cut the blue and the green up, so that means I've got 4 towels and 4 tea towels. The green is a bit thin actually, but I'm hoping that once it's washed it'll fluff up. But the blue is quite thick already, so that'll be alright. But I can use the green for my hair, drying my hair and things, so I'm not bothered. So yeah, I'm pleased about that. All I've got to do now is do lots and lots of machining. I'm just going to go double over the edge like that, and then zigzag down. I've done that with tea towels and that holds very well. They're in and out of the washing machine and none of the edges have frayed, so that's a good system. Just lots of machining. I'm just taking 5, or probably be 10, or maybe even 15 minutes, or even half an hour. I've done some lawn mowing, and I've kind of seem to have lost my oomph for the minute. So I thought I'd do some crocheting. I'm making a crochet top. It's sleeveless, I think I might put some sleeves in it, because I think I don't like the tops of my arms too exposed. So I've done the front, which actually does look a bit small, doesn't it? Well, this is the front panel. It's not going to cover much of me, is it? If it was the front. Anyway, it has, I knit the front panel, which I've done. I knit the back panel, and then you crochet on up the sides over the shoulder, which is invisible, so I presume you cast on some chain stitches excuse me, over the shoulder, and then down the back. So you go up and down like that. It's probably making my camera go funny. It is lacy. I've never had a crochet top before, and I've always wanted one. It's done in cotton, that is. So I am liking it. It's a lovely make. It's a free pattern, and I can't remember who it's a free pattern from. I'll look in my notebook, which is sorry, just keep you waiting. No, it's just called the Breeze Summer Top. You won't see this very clearly because my printer didn't print this out very clearly, but I'll put the links down below, because I'll be on this for a little while yet. It's 4-ply, knitted in 4-ply, and a 3.5mm hook. And I'm not using the pattern what the lady made for the pattern, but I'm using sheepgees, soft fun cotton, which is 60% cotton, 40% acrylic, and it is lovely. It's I don't know what the colour is. It's like an aubergine. Oh, colour 2534 of Soft Fun. I got it from the Wool House. I think it's called the Wool House. Again, I'll leave it down in the notes below if you're interested. And it's lovely to crochet in. It doesn't split when you're working with it, and does unpick if you need to rip back something you've not done properly. It does rip back quite good-temperedly. I'm not sure that it would like being ripped back too many times. I think it would fluff up, but it's definitely alright for 2 or 3 times if you've got a bit of a patch you're not getting right. Also, excuse me, I've got a croaky throat, so my voice is all crackly. And what I love about sheepgees is this little end duple which says easy start. I always start my knitting from the inside of the ball. I don't know really why I do, other than that it stops the ball from you don't pull it. Oh, what am I saying? This is, I make, if the ball comes in a if yabba yabba you. Right, I wind the balls for knitting always on a big ball like this. If it's a 100-gram ball, 4-ply is all right. Double knitting, sometimes I have to split the 100 grams into 2 because 100 grams is too much for my ball winder, and we can get into a bit of a tangle and end up in a bit of a nasty knot if I insist that the ball winder handles the whole 100 grams. So there's my socks. They're in my project bag. I have one project bag for everything. I carry everything around in this. So in here I've got a jumper, my green jumper, some socks to sew up. They'll probably be still here for the next few months. I'm not very good at sewing up finished socks. And then my pouch I keep my spare knitting needles and scissors in, other bits and pieces. This is my pencil case. Actually, I think it's Lester's old pencil case, which I've borrowed. And this other little bag, it's always, oh dear, always useful to have things to keep things in when you're a knitter or sewer, especially if you're on the move around the house or the property. Because I can grab up for here, I can grab the whole bag and be in the garden, in the arbory, in the house, front room, sitting room. Well, we haven't got a sitting room, but bedroom. I can sit anywhere basically. And in here I've got my tape measure and I don't know, these little markers, my little progress keepers, or markers, whatever you call them, and my sewing needle. And this was a bag which was given to me for Christmas, in which was Smelly's smelly soap, I think it was. So I thought, well, took the soap out, I thought, I know what I can use that for. That'll do. Everybody else seems to have you know, handmade nice places or bags to keep things in, but maybe in time I'll get round to making myself a couple. But I don't see the point when I've got a pencil case and an soap bag. They do the job. Anyway, the easy start, and you just pull it, and it does come. Okay. I don't use the ball from the outside. So when I saw this, I thought, wow, thank you. It means I don't have to wind the ball onto my wool winder. Also, when you wind the ball on the wool winder, I take it from the middle, and I've got to fish about in there for the middle of the ball, and you often come out with more of the wool from the ball than you want, or something. Anyway, this is the front panel made. Just got to start the back panel. This didn't take too long. So it's a very quick pattern repeat, easy to learn. After a couple of pattern repeats, you know, I knew it fairly well, and quite relaxing because you're counting all the time. Mostly three chains, and then a single crochet, 3 chains, and maybe a double crochet. Also, but it's counted all the time, which is very good if you've got a bumpy old head. Calms me stuff that goes round around my head like a good one. Right, so that's what I'm going to do. I just need to start the back, so that means I'll be crocheting on some chains, so I better not do that for the moment, because in case Lester comes back, he's still out digging plants, and so when he comes back we'll stop for a coffee. So I'll carry on with my socks. This again is very therapeutic. I can't say enough about how calming it is to knit plain knitting without having to count stitches for a pattern. I love the crochet jumper I'm making, and that's good for keeping my concentration up, but plain knitting is calming in a different way. So that's what I'm doing. I'm finding this wool, which is again I'll put down in the notes below the video too. I've forgotten it. I should keep a list on the in my bag, shouldn't I? So, I'm knitting it on the Miracle Miracle sun's just come out. Just stopped for a moment and felt like listening to everything. Well, you've come to the end of the video. Yay! You might say, woo! And thank you for being heroic enough to stay with me all the way through. And anyway, hope to see you again, or hope to connect with you again, or you know what I mean. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you would like to be reminded of when my next vlog gets posted, and to make a comment if you feel so inclined. I'd love to hear from you. I always answer the comments. And may your days be sweet and full of light. Bye.